Hi there, and welcome to this week ahead transit reading. If you are new here, my name is Erika, and I help other people find their direction in life. I read human design charts, I read astrology charts, I read gene keys charts. I am a Reiki master, I do energy healing, I do all of the things, and all of those things combine together to help people to embody their highest selves and find their correct and aligned path ahead, right? So thank you so much for being here and listening, and I hope that this video is helpful for you in this week ahead. It's a big week. It's like one of the biggest weeks of this entire year. So I really hope that you take the time to listen and absorb these messages and take what resonates, and I hope that you carry that into your personal life and that it is helpful. So let's go ahead and get into it right now. Right now, we are in the middle of this new moon solar eclipse in Aries. So I actually just got back from watching it. I know everybody's got a thing about it, right? Some people are scared, some people have certain like spiritual beliefs about what it all means, or whether you should look at it, or whether you should charge your crystals, but on and on and on and on, right? But like ultimately it's a big day, and I feel that with it being in Aries and we're taking these individualized approaches, these I am statements, it's really about what you believe and what you feel you should do today. So maybe it's time for you to kind of tune out the overall messages out there and kind of tune in to like how you want to use this day. Do you want to view the eclipse? Do you want to charge your crystals? Right? It's a very individual thing. So while this is all happening, this is conjunct Chiron, which is the wounded healer. And I'm not going to get too much into all of this. I'm actually going to use my my Karen Curry Parker book to go over the gene keys of all the conjunctions happening is what I'm actually going to do for today. Instead of giving you my own interpretation, because I've already done that, you can go to my Facebook page and you can read. I wrote a very long breakdown of exactly what it all means. So this is kind of just like my video version of that before we get into the rest of the transits. Okay, so this is happening in gate 51. Which is the gate of initiation. In the I Ching, it's called the arousing. In traditional human design, it's the gate of shock. It's in Aries, obviously, and the biology is the thymus. So the unbalanced expression of this, or what we're kind of, this is also kind of like what we're working on healing if you bring in the Chiron aspect of this. So the unbalanced expression is to let the shock of disruption cause you to lose connection with your true purpose and with source, to become bitter or angry with God, to try to control life and deplete yourself from the energy necessary to hold yourself back. Hold on, to try to control life and deplete yourself from the energy necessary to hold yourself back. Like you're holding yourself back with your bitterness and your anger. The lesson and challenge is to not let the unexpected cause you to lose your faith, to not let a pattern of unexpected events cause you to lose your connection with your purpose and source, to learn to use the power of your own story of initiation to initiate others into fulfilling their right place in the cosmic plan. And the optimal expression, or the energy that we can step into and embody with this energy, is the ability to consciously use cycles of disruption and unexpected twists and turns of faith as catalysts that deepen your connection to source into your life and soul purpose. Some keynotes with this is it can have a shocking life experience. It's shocking life experiences that wake you up to this love of spirit. If you are someone that has this gate, you can kind of be shocking and love it. You can be perceived as competitive, or you are competitive, or this can also just be the competitive energy that's out there. And it's also the place in the chart where the higher self can transcend the ego and it initiates others. So like, how can you use that energy of shock to deepen trust, essentially? And how do you cope with shock? How does shock shake your sense of identity, your own security in yourself? Those are all things to kind of be asking yourself and delving into. Now, also, let's go see this Saturn this Saturn and Mars conjunction. Now, the reason why this is important is because this Aries eclipse rules Mars, and Mars is conjunct Saturn as this is all going down. So, this, like in traditional astrology, well, first of all, let's back up. Traditional astrology, Aries is about being brave. It's about being bold. It's about putting yourself first. It's I am statements. It's taking action, is going forward, and it rules Mars. Eclipses are 6-month cycles. A new moon eclipse is a time to set powerful intentions that can last you through the next 6 months. Mars and Saturn conjunct is like it's like action towards karma, or karma from inaction or action. It is like how it is like kind of like the harsh lesson of like everything you do has a consequence. Everything you do reverberates, you know? And so that's part of it, but it's also an ending, you know, because it's Pisces. It's the last sign of the entire zodiac wheel. So it's like an ending of maybe an old way of taking an action or inaction, an old pattern of not taking action, or an old pattern of taking action on the wrong things, and how that has kind of gotten you to where you are. Now, I love this because we're going to get into the gate that this is in, which is in 63, and that is a gate in the mind. And you know, in human design teachings, the mind is the culprit of a lot of our problems. It's like when we ignore our bodily intuition, our emotional intelligence, and instead we kind of think ourselves into a box. It also talks a lot in this gene key specifically about the power of paradox, and how even if we think ourselves towards the direction of truth, we always end up at the same conclusion that the only truth is paradox. You know, that both and that nothing, our mind really wants to make things black and white, all or nothing, but that's not truth. That's your subjective experience, but it's not truth. Okay, gate 63, the gate of curiosity. In the I Ching, it's after completion. In traditional human design, it's doubt. Astrological sign Pisces, and biology, the pineal gland. Love that. The lesson and challenge is to not let self-doubt and suspicion cause you to stop being curious. Now, I love this too, actually, because if you want, you know, we can kind of like, again, all or nothing thinking. We can deem our minds to be the bad guy, right? That it's bad. But honestly, if you want to look at that from a more positive light, our minds cause us to do the truth seeking in the first place. The thing is it's like if we doubt our subjective experience or the information being presented to us or the words that someone is saying, that's great. You know, that's great, because you can take that doubt and you can turn it into curiosity, and you can discover more, and you can uncover more layers and more truth. But when that doubt is turned inward into self-doubt, or doubting even others as a human being, that's when it gets ugly, right? That's when you stop being curious, and you just kind of like have this existential doubt, or this like vibe of like skepticism that again keeps you trapped in this mental box. So the unbalanced expression is doubt, especially self-doubt, that leads to suspicion and the struggle for certainty, the unwillingness to question an old idea, the loss of curiosity. But we're healing this. We're bringing this into the optimal expression, which is the ability to use questioning and curiosity to stimulate dreams of new possibilities and potentials, thoughts that inspire the question of what needs to happen to make an idea a reality. See, so that curiosity, that skepticism turned into curiosity, stimulates dreams and new possibilities. That self-doubt or doubt in humanity or pessimism or skepticism disconnects us from the whole. So some questions you could ask yourself is, are you curious about life? Do you regularly allow yourself to be curious about what else is possible in the world or in your life? Do you doubt yourself and your ideas? What needs to happen to unlock your need to be right about an idea and allow yourself to dream of possibilities again? Also, maybe you should turn that curiosity in on your limiting beliefs or on your beliefs in general, because you might not even know if a belief is limiting until you question it, until you allow a spot to open up for that. Some keynotes are doubt, suspicion, and inadequacy, the pressure for answers. What else is possible? Is this true? What? The right eye, visual, left brain, neurotransmitter production, and trust. Perfect. Okay, then the next conjunction is Uranus and Jupiter and Taurus. Uranus is innovative. It breaks free. It's about change. It's about seeing things in a different way. And Jupiter is about expansion, also kind of about seeing things in a different way, also a bit innovative, but innovative in an abundant way. You know, so both of these planets coming together is really like a superpower to expand and get innovative and receive your abundance in a very like future thinking oriented way, in a very manifest kind of way, because it's also in Taurus, which is the most, in my opinion, is the top dog of manifestors in the zodiac. And even on the human design side, I actually think that's cool. I'll show you guys real quick. Because I actually have my PowerPoint up right now. So yeah, even in human design, Taurus is kind of like this individual channel leading into the throat chakra, and the throat chakra is what helps us to manifest. Gemini also has a lot of gates, most of its gates in the throat chakra. So I just think that that's kind of interesting. It's like, or actually, that's kind of what I was trying to say with this. Hold on. It's also like taking what's in the mind's eye and manifesting it, you know? So like if you've been having this idea or this, what did I just see? Like everything is created twice, right? First it's created in your mind and then it's created in reality. And so what have you had in your mind that you haven't quite created in reality yet? And how can you manifest that? This is also the chart. So as this week goes on, Jupiter and Uranus are going to be nearing closer and closer together into that conjunction. Here is where you can see the Mars-Saturn conjunction. Here is where you can see the new moon solar eclipse conjunct Chiron. And here is, we'll get into that. Let me stop share real quick. Okay. So that is going to be gate 23 that we're using to help us get innovative and manifest our dreams. Oh yeah, and that's also what I was going to show you. That's why I did this in the first place. So gate 23 right here. So again, like I said, it's taking this is the third eye or the mind's eye, right, that we're talking about. And this is the throat center of manifestation. And here is gate 23 right here. So again, like I said, something that's been in your mind that you're really wanting to manifest into reality. And you know what's cool about this being in the throat center is that this particular gate helps to manifest these things into reality by making sense of complex ideas. being able to articulate and communicate something simply enough for the right people to kind of grasp on and help to manifest this thing. So if there's something that you've been kind of stewing in your mind's eye and you're ready to communicate this thing, or maybe you just haven't figured out how to communicate this thing, this week might honestly might honestly be a great time to kind of slow down and get patient and connected, and maybe even do some like channeled writing or any type of like kind of expression that you can, and wait for that kind of flow to come through and see if you can articulate these thoughts, see if it kind of just spills out of you this coming week, especially if you're someone who doesn't normally have that gate activated in your chart. Okay, so gate 23 is the gate of transmission. The I Ching, it's splitting apart. Traditional human design is called the gate of assimilation. Astrological sign, Taurus. Biology, thyroid and parathyroid. The unbalanced expression is the need to be right, an anxiety or pressure to share what you know with people who aren't ready, and then to feel despair or bitterness that they don't understand things the way you do. See how this can kind of connect to that gate 63 that we talked about when it comes to this doubt and this suspicion? You feel like you need to be right so bad about this idea in your head that you're trying to kind of force it and push it out of yourself. And when you do that, your animal body communicates that you're not ready because you're not ready, which communicates to other people that you're not ready, which causes more doubt and suspicion. And when you're doubted as a person, that can cause you to feel despair and bitterness. It's not a good feeling, right? So the lesson and challenge is to recognize that change and transformation are inevitable, to know what needs to happen next, to wait for the right timing and the right people to share your insights with, to not jump the gun and try to convince people to understand what you know, to not let yourself slip into negativity and despair when people aren't ready. The optimal expression is the ability to translate transformative insights with people that offers them a way to transform the way they think, to share what you know with awareness of right timing, and to trust your knowingness as an expression of your connection to source. So, in my opinion, if you take this innovative energy of Uranus, this progress, this change, this breaking free, especially of your material reality, and then you take Jupiter of blessings and good luck and expansion, you can see how this coming week you might have a lot of good luck and expansion and abundance and manifest your reality by articulating these things, by transforming, getting other people on board with your innovative progressive ideas, by being able to articulate what you need to say, by waiting for the divine timing to know when to speak, to know when it's the right people, the right time, and the right streamline of words to open your mouth or express yourself. Some keynotes is can see which next new awareness, knowledge, inspiration is worthy of pursuing or assimilating into the world, does not listen, visionary or freak, has to trust in correct timing, the ability to structure transformation ideas into language, teaching, right timing, feeling heard, great ideas, and innovation. Honestly, too, I want to say like the Pluto in Scorpio people like myself and in my generation, a lot of you might have that gate of 43 as well, which means that there is that channel that has been formed with Uranus. And I feel like it's been like at least, I want to say like a year even. I wonder if I can quickly, let's go to 23. No. Okay, so like I'm showing July of 2023, this was already a deal, So for like almost a year now, you might have been stewing some ideas. And this coming week might be the time where you finally express those ideas. So whoever's listening, if that resonates with you, take that as a sign. Okay. Let's also look here. So I know that this chart is Astro Gold, and I just basically took a screenshot to put on my computer because unfortunately Astro Gold doesn't have the option for me to be able to access this on my computer. So long story short, we're just going to kind of look at this and I'm going to show you how things are going to be moving. So the next one that I wanted to talk about this week is the Mercury Cazimi. What that means is that if you see Mercury here is retrograde, it's going backwards, and in this coming week, it is going to pass over the sun. You know, and I should have had this more prepared of looking at exactly when that, okay, so April 11th, April 11th at about 6-ish p.m. Now let's go look at what that looks like on the gate side of things. Forty-two 42.2, which I'm pretty sure is where Mercury is at today during the eclipse. So that's also interesting. It's a conclusion. I don't know. I feel like when we keep thinking of these ideas in our head and how much that has been kind of woven into this eclipse energy, because I feel like if we look at the more higher esoteric side of this whole thing, it's like, how do we get the drive and the motivation behind the right idea to bring the right idea forward into the world? And so if we're thinking that way, then we can see how important Mercury is in this picture. And Mercury conjunct the sun, pass over the sun, means that Mercury is amplified, means that Mercury is stronger that day. And it's retrograde, so it's turned inwards, meaning that insights and downloads are stronger that day. And so let's think about April 11th, which is wrong one, Thursday, and think about the things of this particular gate. And like, and it's interesting too, because also this gate is in the sacral center, which is your source of energy, motivation, passion, right? That's like sacral's very, very Mars synced up energy. So let's take a look at this. Gate 42 is the gate of conclusion. I Ching, the gate of increase, traditional human design, finishing things, astrological sign Aries, biology, ovaries, and testes. Let's just look at the optimal expression of this one. The ability to respond to being inserted into opportunities, experiences, and events that you have the wisdom to facilitate and complete, to know exactly what needs to be completed to create the space for something new. You guys, I really love this because this is the same day that Pluto goes into gate 41. And the optimal expression of that is the ability to use your creative imagination to generate ideas about new abundant opportunities in the world, to sustain these abundant visions, share them when necessary, and to use your imagination to break old patterns and limiting beliefs, to be able to hold the vision of a miracle that transcends expectation. See, guys, like Pluto moves really, really slow. It's been in this gate of limitation for a really long time. And we're breaking out of that limitation for a minute, and we're getting into the gate of imagination, of being able to break old patterns and hold a vision of a miracle that transcends expectations. Meanwhile, at the same time, Mercury, the gate that's doing the imagining or having those inward insights and downloads, is completing something to create that space for something new, for like a new transformative experience and opportunity. I really think this week is such an amazing time to hold on to the idea of what you want to see for your own personal life, for the world, for the future, for the collective, for the people in your life that you love. To not let shock and awe and distractions and bullshit and old patterns and the old way that people used to see you hold you back from what you want to see happen. You want to weave your future into the present moment. So this week, like, stay present and hold that idea, hold that vision, that imagination. Okay, now just to also quickly summarize, like I said, I'm doing this a little bit differently now. Rather than going through it on a day by day basis, I'm just kind of giving you guys the highlights of the week ahead of like what you really need to know, in my opinion. Um, lastly, we already kind of talked about Pluto moving into gate 41. Um, the moons this week, starting now, we have our moon in Aries. It's going to move through Taurus, Gemini, and it'll be in Cancer on Sunday. On the human design side of things, and for my reflectors, we are currently in the quarter of initiation, and by Sunday, we will end in the quarter of civilization. So we're kind of going, today is the initiation day. You know, today is that like, oh, like, oh, I'm awakened to like what I need to do. This is what needs to happen. And then as we move through the week, we're manifesting the shit out of this. Like, I don't know, it's beautiful. I love it. um I really think the cards are going to maybe talk to us how about kind of getting unstuck, maybe, because see, we have this Violet Duchess card, which is stifled, bored, and stuck. By the way, guys, this is my Oracles of Shadows and Light deck by Lucy Cavendish. And then I also just got this brand new deck, the Teal Swan deck. And so we got this sigil card as well that we're gonna get into. So let's just go ahead and get started. I want to see if anything's kind of popping out at me about this first. I think it's just saying that like your mind is what's keeping you stuck. Like, I know that this might sound confusing considering that a lot of the stuff coming up is like mind oriented things. But maybe if anything at all, you could use this week ahead to kind of learn this discernment of like what thoughts come from fear, from limiting beliefs, from patterns, from other people. Like, how do you discern those thoughts from the more divine thoughts, right? Like the divine downloads, your spirit team talking to you, that moment when it's time for you to share, to speak up. How do you discern that? Like, let's play with that. Let's experiment with that this week. Let's get in touch with that. Let's also feel out like, where are the thoughts that are like, can we discern between the thoughts that are disconnected from our body versus the thoughts that are in alignment with our body, with our emotions, with our intuition? Can we feel the difference? Okay. Violet Duchess message: stifled, bored, and stuck. Bored, stifled, or about the Violet Duchess. Bored, stifled, ah, yes. She's trying to be good and nice and polite, but it's not working. This lovely and very passionate aristocrat has her fairy wings tucked firmly in, not visible at all, and is sitting stifly, listening to someone give a lecture on manners. She's polite on the surface, but it's easy to see and feel that she is bored, frustrated, and ready to fly away at the first opportunity. She is tired of the stuffiness of people around her, of being proper, formal, and ever so ladylike. She finds herself restricted by a world where manners and protocols have become more important than spontaneity, magic, and freedom. And she longs for that. For now, she will bide her time, but you can see the frustration growing beneath. And frustration is, after all, only your own life force turned within and longing to break free of its restraints. Holy shit. Like, I honestly have chills right now because what that just said is a perfect way to explain that gate 51 of where we're at, of that Mars, that frustration kind of brewing within that's not being channeled directly. And when we think about how we've been in this gate of limitation and all of this like holding back energy, we can see how this is like the week of like that egg cracking open, and that helps you discern from the thoughts, right? Because what she just said is her longing to break free from conditioning, from societal conditioning. And I don't know if you guys did read my post. I kind of talked about how like our traumas, this like shock and trauma used to control, causes us to sacrifice our own ability to be shocking, so that way we kind of blend in and assimilate and homogenize, right? We lose our individuality, we lose our flair and our spark. So that's something that we're working on healing with this new moon solar eclipse. The Violet Duchess speaks. In your admirable quest for balance, you can admirable quest for balance, that's the South Node in Libra, right? That people pleasing, that caring so much how other people view you. In your admirable quest for balance, you can actually become too neutral, pretending to be serene, acting polite, not making waves, and not speaking your truth. Now that I've arrived showing you exactly how you feel, it's time to discover or rediscover a raw and honest emotional reaction you had to a person or to an issue and express it. It's all very well being a lover of harmony and not wanting to be a troublemaker, but being a lukewarm person in regards to situations that really matter is not going to do you any favors. Bottling up your true self in turn leads to unhealthy relationships, aches, pains, and even illness. When I come up, go for the passionate and truthful option and rediscover just how strongly you can feel and how much fun you can have. Divination message. Your desire to be liked, to please, and to be seen as a lady or a gentleman is cheating yourself out of something wonderful that you deserve to experience. Sometimes there are rules that simply need to be broken. Keeping to the spirit of the law sometimes means breaking the letter of the law. That's how things change. There is a situation at the moment that has revealed itself as unjust, unfair, and absolutely unattractive to you, but you have yet to speak up. The most inspiring thing about this situation is that you'll discover just how safe it is to stand up for what you truly believe in. Others will be inspired too. So while it feels like you're taking a risk at first, after a while, you'll realize you started your own small revolution. Perfect. I don't even need to say anything else about that. Okay. 58. I'm going to show you guys this one more time. Blinding pessimism. If you have drawn this sigil, it means that in this situation, your pessimism is blinding you to actual reality. There is a reason that we are pessimistic. We were not born pessimistic. It is a strategy we learn to adopt so as to minimize pain. It is a defense mechanism. This means if we are pessimistic in general, we have been deeply and repetitively hurt in our lives, and it is a guarantee that hurt came with crushing disappointment. It means that if you are pessimistic in this single situation, you are doing so to minimize pain, especially the potential of disappointment. Guys, whoa, think about what I said about that Mars Saturn conjunction and that doubt. People use pessimism as a way to explain bad events in a stable and predictable way. We tend to think bad events are caused by us, controllable, and will definitely occur, predictable. Even though it is said that pessimism spreads helplessness, it is a strategy to try to avoid the painful helplessness of having a goal that you feel you cannot attain. Being excited only to be superbly disappointed and hoping only to find your hope shattered into 1,000 pieces. If you have drawn this sigil, it may benefit you at this time to also spend some time accepting the energy of sigil 55 and coming to understand its message. In fact, this sigil, sigil 60 and sigil 55, are like best friends. They love to be together and co-teach. Guys, I don't know anything about that, but I know that in the Gene Keys human design side of things, 60 is that gate of limitation that Pluto is breaking out of. And 55 is the gate that's being mutated within all of us coming up into the year 2027 on the human design side of things. And this is the gene key of like breaking out of victim mindset. You know, and that like what are the odds of that in this card? Like, this is so fucking perfect. This is like a lot of the times we feel victim to our limitations, and that stops us from doing anything that we actually have control over, from staying in the present moment, from seeing opportunity around us. You know, like these are our beliefs. These victim mindset beliefs are beliefs. You know, it's like that exercise of like if I ask you right now to look around the room and look at everything in the room that is brown, and then you'll be able to tell me everything you saw that was brown. But if I say, okay, but what was red, you didn't pay attention because I told you to look for brown. You see, so it's like you see it's that subjective belief experience of like you're looking for the limitation, you're looking for the doubt, you're looking for evidence to prove that you're unworthy, that it's not possible for you. And you're not looking, you're blinded to the blinding pessimism, you're blinded to the opportunities that are there. Here is the thing: pessimism affects the way we act or the way we refuse to act. Mars, action, inaction. Optimists, as long as they are not using optimism as an active form of denial, tend to pursue their goals persistently, leading them to build effective strategies and resources that enable them to achieve success. Optimists have a higher investment in their goals and much more perseverance with regards to attaining these goals. In other words, they are happy and healthy and successful, not because of who they are, but because the way they see things causes them to act in ways that guarantee happiness, health, and success. Pessimism is the opposite. Because of this, pessimism is associated with greater anxious and depressive symptoms, resignation, underachievement, and poor physical health. Pessimists often confuse themselves with realists. that used to that oh I know a lot of people I have dealt with like this who have called my own level of optimism and positivity as like toxic positivity. But there is a difference, you know. Remember, the only truth is paradox. We're not in that all or nothing thinking. Like I said, like I don't use my positivity to escape my reality. And you're using your delusion of pessimism and calling it reality. See? Pessimists often confuse themselves with realists, but if you are pessimistic, you are not a realist. To see what is real, you have to see that reality is made of both negative and positive. Pessimistic people are much better at seeing the negative in life, but are blind to the positive. Optimists are better at seeing the positive in life, but if they are using optimism as an avoidance strategy, they are blind to the negative. This means you do not currently have a grasp on reality. She said exactly what I was like thinking. Okay. If you have drawn the sigil, you are not looking at the negative reality in this situation. You are using negative mental distortion to protect yourself, and it is causing you to act or not act in ways that do not benefit you. Ask yourself this question: what would I do differently in this scenario if I knew I had a very real reason to expect a positive outcome and expect the best? What would I do differently? This is how we weave our future into the present moment, right here, right here. What would I do differently in this scenario if I knew I had very real reasons to expect a positive outcome and expect the best? How would that change what you're doing, what you're taking action on right now? That's how we're going to manifest the best fucking life ever in this coming week ahead. Last little thing, I'm going to also read the affirmation of this gate because it popped in my head to do so. So if you're listening, this might be a good time to take a deep breath with me. Close your eyes, get centered. And listen to the following affirmation. I navigate change and transformation with grace. I know that when my life takes a twist or a turn, it is my soul calling me out to serve at a higher level. I use disruption as a catalyst for my own growth and expansion. I am a teacher and an initiator. I use my ability to transform pain into growth and power to help others navigate through crisis and emerge on the other side of the crisis empowered and aligned. And so it fucking is. Thank you so much. So much. Like, I know if you're watching this video, you support me and you support everything that I'm trying to do and my mission. And I want to take this moment to maybe ask even more of you, right? Because I desire to reach, and like, there's nothing that's more fulfilling to me than having taken my own experience in life and my own experimentation of the information that I've learned and how I've applied that in my own life. And then I'm like, wow, this works. This is amazing. And I get so like passionate about that. And I want to take that back out there into the world and share it with other people. I want to take that experiment and experiment with you, experiment with other people. And so I deeply desire to have this audience to play around with, to experiment with, to share my own insights with, like we just went over. I have so many insights and downloads and ideas that have been stewing over the last year. I have invented a coaching program, and I don't even want to call it a coaching program because it's more than that. Like, I have used these certain tools and modalities to figure out who I am, figure out the limiting beliefs holding me back, figure out how to embody who I truly am. Because see, that's the thing. We might think we know who we are, but are we actually stepping into who we know we are on a day-to-day basis around certain people? Like, are we cowering into like who other people want us to be in certain situations? I've been through that. So like, if this is something that you've also went through in your life, I can help you. Not only that, but like when we're embodying it and when we're trying it out and we're practicing and we're experimenting, we're going to hit pitfalls and we're going to notice certain traps. And I can help you with that too, because I've been through it. I've done it all. So I guess I'm just saying that if you've listened this far into this video, then I'm grateful as hell for you. And I would love it if you would help me to grow by inviting your friends to like my Facebook page, subscribing to this YouTube channel, giving it a like, giving it a comment, reaching out to me with any feedback that you think might help me. Like, maybe you're noticing like, hey, Erika, if you did this a little bit differently, I think it would really help you. Like, message me, comment. I just want to ask to receive a little bit more from my audience because I know I deserve it. I have been giving free content since 2018. And I don't want to stop. So with that dog bark, I will leave it at that. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have an amazing healing week ahead.